we're inside the Humane Society of Clark County right now. You can still see the ground is really wet. They said they had about 2 feet of water inside the building, and we'll take a look this way. The animals are huddled up together, trying to stay dry and get away from the water. And as we turn this way, you can see the water fill this whole area here. And I'm joined by Janie Allen, who works for the Humane Society. You said you had to go through water almost chest high to get inside here, and you're in urgent need right now. What can people do to help?
Cassie was 15 years old when she went missing. Today she'd be 20 years old, and in the years since she was last seen, investigators and the family have been left wondering what happened to Cassie Compton.
Now, if your kids are heading back to school soon, this is the weekend to go shopping, since all school supplies will be tax-free. This tree that fell actually took out this entire power line here and is now laying across the whole road. We were speaking with Oak Grove Fire Department that's saying they actually have to wait for the highway department to come and clear this because they don't have the proper equipment.
Well, we begin this morning with new information. A Faulkner County man is sentenced to 5 years of felony probation after pleading guilty to first-degree terroristic threatening. 29-year-old Jonathan Earl Hill admitted to dousing his wife's home in gasoline back in May of this year. Now, the Asian stock markets hovered around 4-month lows overnight amid concerns about trade tensions between the U.S. and China. And Europe, the euro is confined to a narrow range.
Come to your TVs right now if you're just listening. We are here with Crystal Rycroft, Renee Thompson, and Kim Robinson from Studio 613, and they're here to show us a twist on a popular workout class, Zumba. Ladies, good morning, and thank you so much for being here with us. I just grabbed Mr. Scott. You just gave a very passionate speech to all your supporters here tonight at Copper Grill. How are you feeling in this moment?
Top stories making news this morning. Little Rock police are investigating a homicide after a man arrived at a hospital with gunshot wounds. Police believe the shooting happened in the area of Baseline Road. We know the victim is a young man in his early 20s. There are no suspects, and police have not released the name of the victim. Stick with Channel 7 and KATV.com for updates on the story.
There's been some deaths in Kansas and Missouri related to vaping. What are your thoughts on that? There's been discussions in Arkansas about potential legislation.
There's areas where smoke is still rising out of the remnants of this church. This was a file cabinet. On the side I'm on, you can see papers that have completely burned, and that smoke is still rising. We also have a door here, one of the entrances to this church, that has been knocked down. And if we move this way, this is really giving you an idea of how extensive this fire was. Trending online this morning, I love that I have the beer story and I have celiac disease and cannot drink beer.
Well, you know.
You can celebrate today's unofficial holiday by ordering yourself a pint.
We're right at the time of the year where, students have been excited all summer. Okay, school's starting, but once you get to that time, it can be really stressful trying to get everything together and making that transition from living at home to a dorm for the first time.
Yes, very.
So you have some of the essentials that people need to bring.
Yesterday, we told you that Cassie's mom, Judy Compton Kimsey, was engaged to a man named Brandon Rhodes at the time of Cassie's disappearance. Stuttgart Police Chief Mark Duke has never ruled him out as a suspect.
The two people at home at the time of Cassie Compton's disappearance were her mother, Judy Compton, and Judy's fiance at the time, Brandon Rhodes. Judy says she remembers what Brandon was doing when Cassie came home that night.
He was in the house, and he was cooking dinner. That's what he was getting ready to do whenever she came home, was cook supper, because I was really sick.
Judy says Brandon brought her dinner in bed because she was too sick to get up and eat. A private investigator named Tina Storrs with an organization called Halos Investigations has been working on this case since about a year and a half after Cassie disappeared. She worked closely with Judy Compton over the years. Tina says she remembers Judy telling her a different story about Brandon Rhodes.
She said he told her he was leaving and he was going to get cigarettes. But at the same time that he goes to get cigarettes, Cassie Compton texts us, "I'm going to get a smoke." Red flag. She's never seen again.
Tina says this detail has never settled well with her.
I'm not going to say he did anything to her because I do not know, but you put two and two together. He's gone to get cigarettes and she's gone to get cigarettes. So, something is just not right there.
Brandon has never been charged or convicted with anything related to Cassie Compton's disappearance, but we found that he is currently booked into the Independence County Jail on several charges, including conspiracy to commit capital murder in a different case. I reached out saying I wanted to speak with him about Cassie's disappearance. About a week later, I got a response. He said, quote, "I am willing to do whatever it takes to bring closure to Judy and once and for all put this Cassie case to a close. There's only so much a man can keep bottled up inside of him. It's time the truth was presented to everyone." I called Stuttgart Police Chief Mark Duke shortly after receiving the letter.
I don't know how to put that in words. He's out there. And I think he's, like I said before, I think he's definitely a prime suspect. Nobody's been ruled out.
Judy Compton says what Brandon wrote is shocking to her.
Just made my heart drop. It makes me wonder. Didn't make anybody wonder.
The Independence County Sheriff's Office and Independence County Jail have not responded to my request to set up an interview with Brandon Rhodes, but Tina Storrs and I went up to visit him in jail, and it didn't go as expected. Tomorrow night at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 7, we'll tell you what happened.
Crews got the go-ahead to begin the process of lifting the boat from where it sat 80 feet down at the bottom of the lake. There was shock among those watching as the first glimpse when the boat broke the water's surface was the fluorescent orange of life jackets that went unused as the ship went down. Many people are left with questions about the life jackets. Were they accessible to the passengers, and why weren't they wearing them in those final moments before the boat sank?
Regulations require that personal flotation devices be on board for all passengers, and the decision to don those PFDs is made as an operational decision for the captain on board.
And video you will only see here on Channel 7. When the boat was pulled to shore, it appears the life jackets are latched to the roof of the boat. The life jackets are now a major part of the investigation as authorities work to figure out if there was any criminal negligence.
One of the focus of the investigation is to determine whether or not the operation and this particular voyage was conducted in accordance with the operational guidance and the operational manual for Ride the Ducks.
The Coast Guard says they will take all the evidence collected, as well as video, witness statements, and personal accounts of what happened, and compile it all.
The investigation will include all facets of the operation and everything that led to and was part of the marine casualty.
Now, a family here in Little Rock is advocating for Arkansans with Down syndrome at the state capitol.
Al is a lot of fun. He loves music, he loves singing, but he loves school.
Al Hunt is a freshman in high school.
Math, science, skills, history class. I loved everything.
Just like any teenager.
And Al has a message he wants to spread.
I loved Down syndrome.
But fitting in hasn't been easy over the years.
Other kids mean to me, if I mean, no. Really upset me.
It's a concept Al's parents, James and Deanne Hunt, have struggled with.
Neighborhood kids don't knock on our door to ask Al to come play basketball. It's just not part of our life.
But they have fought for inclusion. Deanne is the president of the Arkansas Down Syndrome Association, and James serves on the board.
We work very hard to provide some no-cost or low-cost opportunities for our community members to be together in a space where they feel safe and included.
Al is here today just to be recognized for his efforts.
The Hunts have just presented a bill to the Arkansas Senate, all with the goal of challenging a stigma.
The statutes previously written use the terminology mentally retarded.
They want to change those statutes to use more inclusive phrases like intellectual or developmental disability.
And all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Resolution's adopted.
There's so much more to these individuals, and their potential is so much greater. And we want to change the perception to where that is what people think of.
It feels hopeful.
And you heard the Arkansas Senate adopted Al's resolution. So how exciting for the Hunt family and everyone here that knows and loves people with Down syndrome.